Hello, everyone. How are you? This is J.D.Wright with DanaClarkColors.com.
Right.
And tonight we have a guest, someone who I go way back with. Hey,
Hi,
Crystal.
Jennifer. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can hear you just fine. How have you
Okay,
been?
awesome. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
No problem, no problem. I'm glad to have you. Now, you guys, let me just say again, for those of you who don't know, I'm JD Wright of Dana Clark Colors, and I am talking tonight with Miss Crystal Marable, a fellow children's book author. So we are so happy to have you here, Crystal.
Thank
Let me
you.
tell you. Yes, we're so glad to have you here. Now, you guys, I don't know if you remember, how many years ago was it, Crystal? It was was it 4 years ago?
I think about 4 years.
Maybe 4 years ago, Crystal and I and another fellow author went on a trip.
An adventure.
It was an adventure. It was something that was new to all of us actually, but we were so excited. We all got together and we went to this grand event in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
And it was called the BET Experience. Remember
Yes.
that?
Yep.
For
Yep.
Black Entertainment Television. For those of you who don't understand that acronym, Black Entertainment Television, BET. Okay. And it was so much fun. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it, Crystal?
It was the experience of a lifetime. I was just so honored to even be asked to even attend the trip, Jennifer, and to be able to attend that trip and be amongst other Black entrepreneurs in that room, in that stadium. This was like the Staples Stadium, right? The Staples. And so, we're used to seeing the Staples Center on TV, the Lakers game, different things that go on there. So just to be in
Yeah.
that arena and so much going on and being a part of it and taking all the stuff and traveling like clear across country, taking our books and all the materials and just kind of, it was just exciting to just set up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
once everything got set up, it was just kind of like, we're like so far from home. We're on the
Yeah.
different coast and these are people now being exposed to our books and what I call like my baby. Gabby is my baby. So it was a lifetime experience.
Oh my gosh, Crystal. I was exhausted.
Yes.
Exhausted every night when we finished. I could not. I was like, oh my gosh, my feet hurt. But you can't help it because the excitement
Yeah,
keeps you energized to keep going. And
exactly.
we sold a lot of books. We met a lot of people. We even
Mhm.
saw some people that were from here, from home, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That
I
was so
remember.
awesome. Oh my gosh. But it was celebrities there. It was so many different people there and we had so much fun and we were just
Yeah.
spreading the word, spreading the message.
And you know what I got out of that too, Jennifer, was that, we had a couple like little hiccups, logistically with, remember the car when Israel had to pack everything in the car and pre-ship everything. And it was just so much stuff. And I'm thankful that he was just like top-notch stand-up guy because he handled all that stuff. And it was like, thank you, Israel. Because I don't know if I could have handled all that logistically by myself. But
Yeah.
to say that we did that and traveled far without really even knowing what to expect when we got
Mm-hmm.
there, we did that. We conquered it. We as if we were home in our own territory. We were like in foreign land, really, seriously.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
to even just kind of jump in there and what was the curlies for you? Curls for you?
Yes.
Yes.
It was the hair product. It was the hair product for children's hair for kids.
Yeah,
And those products I thought they were amazing. Like
they
I
were.
tried those products on my daughter and I was like, okay, we can do this. We can do this.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful experience. For those of you who don't know, Real Cook is the creator of Princess Planets. So if you're not familiar with that book, I'll be talking to him soon. and we'll get you familiar. But it was exciting. But what I'm here to talk about tonight is this Graceful
Ah.
Gabby.
Yes, yay, Gabby. Yay, Gabby. I have my little copy. It's funny because sometimes when you put the book down, for a while, and I published this book in 2013. And
Mhm.
after the initial publication and the excitement of it, it's like I pick up this book and I'm like, it reminds me, it's like it gets me all excited again about this beautiful little black girl, and
Yeah.
her and the story. And that character is like very live to me. I don't know
Yeah.
how other authors kind of feel about their characters, but that character became almost like, you know, live, like a live daughter for me. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I feel about this book. So I love Gabby.
Oh, tell us a little more about the book. It's so nice. I really really liked it. I really did.
Well, thank you so much. So the whole purpose of the book was to create a book that featured an African American girl character that the book is all about family values. It's about the grandmother. The grandmother is just as central to the story as Gabby is because she's
Mhm.
teaching life lessons. She's teaching on the spirit, this fruit of the spirit. Um, Gabby is, having a lesson of learning how to be grateful. And we all
Mhm.
know how little kids are. They kind of have this expectation on things like, oh, I wanted it to
Mhm.
be this way, or they get disappointed. And so the grandmother takes her to do this little kind of story of showing her all the things that it may be one thing that isn't what you wanted, but guess what? You got all these other things around you that are great. And she takes her to this journey of like appreciating, showing her all the things that she should appreciate. And that takes her mind over the one thing that she just didn't like, which was her room color. She wanted
Mhm.
it to be pink, but it was blue.
Mhm.
So she took her through that journey and taught her how to be appreciative. She taught her family values, the value of family, the value of the things that her mother and father had provided for her, the value of the things that her big brother had passed on
Mhm.
and given to her. And so that's the kind of gist of the story. But the thing that I love the most is not only the story, but the the character is so relatable. And she's such a pretty little girl, and she's just such a great, for me, a great representation of just a beautiful African American little girl. So I just love that about this book.
Yes, I really like the book so much. What inspired you to write it?
And I've heard other people tell this, but this is so true for me, is that I did go to a store when my daughter was little to get her a doll that she wanted. And I ended up getting her the doll, and I know you've probably heard other people say this, they only had books on um, the stories were like slave stories or different things. And so, and I'm not certain if that was part of the reason. And you're kind of like looking around for books that like will show your daughter a good representation of herself, right? um
Yes.
so I have always wanted to write a children's book. I think I was more inspired to write that children's book after that visit to the store, and just kind of a little bit disappointed in what was being offered for my daughter. And so
Mhm.
that was a factor. Um, and it's been a goal of mine. And so I didn't know quite how to center my story, but in researching before I wrote the story, one of the things that I researched was that to write a story that's kind of relatable, that you can relate to, and that's like a real life story. And so this particular story really did happen with my daughter. I really did transition my son's room to her room and made everything girly, except I didn't paint the walls pink. I kept them blue, but everything else was pink. And she really did walk into that room and say, 'cause she was a girly girl. She loved pink. And she really
Yeah,
did
I
walk in there
remember.
and say, Mommy, but the walls are still blue. And instantly, Jennifer, I said, that's my story. That is my story. That's my children's book story. And so I crafted it around that real life kind of incident of her walking into that room,
Yeah.
not saying all the beauty of everything else, but the first thing she noticed was, I like pink and my walls are not pink. I want them pink. So that was where I got my story from.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that. I remember your daughter so well. She was so sweet and so kind. You
Oh,
had the
thank
kindest
you.
daughter. Oh my gosh, she was so beautiful. When we went to go see was it the Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, the
Were you
Beauty
on
and the Beast.
that play? Yes, she was so
Yes.
kind to my daughter, and I always appreciated that. So
Oh, that is
I
awesome.
she's great. Let me ask you, what is your parenting approach with her?
Okay, so Jasmine is, we call her because she loves, we've always called her Pinky Dinky Doo. And right, Jennifer, she is just such a lovable young lady. And she's always been kind of, I don't even know if I can say she's totally mama's girl because she's a combination of both. She's a daddy's girl when she's with daddy, and she's a mommy's girl when she's with, it just, she's just a love bug. She's a little love bug. And so my approach to parenting with her is just I have always, and especially now, she's actually going on 15 now, believe it or not. But just I, I wanted to always keep the lines of communication open with my daughter because I want
Mhm.
my daughter to be able to feel comfortable to come and talk to me about life issues, things that she's not feeling the greatest about. Um, Good things, great things, her sharing her accomplishments. And so, not so much of, what I've learned even with my own mom is that the friendship comes later. When you become an adult, you become kind of more friends with your mom. But as
Mhm.
a child of raising a child, I wanted to create an atmosphere that was conducive for her to, my mom is where I'm safe. My mom, I can talk to my mom about anything. I can talk to my mom about everything. I don't have to be afraid to tell my mom something. Even if it's
Right.
not the greatest thing, I can feel comfortable to come. My mom is going to support me. My mom's going to be supportive and she's going to love me regardless. And so I've always wanted to consistently create an atmosphere such as that for my daughter.
Mhm.
She's not a problematic child, so it's easy, it's easy with her. But she's going into like her teenage years, and so I'm seeing the kind of transition into becoming a young teenager, and she'll be turning 15, and it's kind of like, wow, this is a different, even some of the things that she sits down and talks to me about. She's like, "Well, mom, I'm not a kid anymore," and I'm like, "But yes, you are a kid," But they kind of like reel you in like, okay, I'm still a kid, but I'm not like 5.
Yeah.
So it's a joy to raise her. I'm enjoying seeing the young lady that she's blossoming into, and her own
Mhm.
kind of being, just kind of like seeing that, okay, she's similar to me because I'm her mother, but she still has her own identity. She still has her own, intricate details of herself that I want to
Mhm.
be able to pull out of her and allow her to blossom and
Mhm.
appreciate those gifts. Whatever these gifts blossom into, I want to provide the atmosphere for them to grow.
Yes, I totally agree. I feel the exact same way. When I'm raising April, I want her to, it's my job to guide her towards the
Yes.
best of herself, you know? And
Uh-huh.
I just totally agree. It's different than a lot of us were raised. It's different than what the way a lot of us were raised.
Mm-hmm.
But we're more clear and more open, with our kids. And
Yeah.
I think nowadays we are. And I know I am when it comes to April. I just want to make sure that she has a good understanding of our
Mhm.
relationship, that it is unconditional. Like there's a
Right.
unconditional love there. And I want her to be able to explore and find more of that kind of love in the world,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
one of the ways to do that and to connect is through being represented in this manner, like this
True.
helps a lot for people to love themselves and understand who they are when they can see themselves
Yeah.
in these kind of children's books. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Crystal. I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if you could tell us about your illustrator, because the a lot of people who get books done are using a lot of computer generated type
Mhm.
of pictures, and this kind of looked more like a painting. Could you tell us a little bit more about your illustrator and why you chose that illustrator?
So I don't know. So I'm not an illustrator, so I don't know what method that he used, but his name is Mike Motz. And I actually saw another children's book by a friend of mine, and I asked her who illustrated her book, and she shared with me Mike Motz. And because that book was also illustrated really, really, really pretty, really nice. And so, in the process of I think it's key when starting out with illustrating is to really outline your vision to the illustrator, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're dealing with creating an African American character. Um, in the beginning, I kind of like set the tone of I don't want I want the character to look like an African American girl, not a girl painted African American. You know, I want the features to reflect our features. I want I want her to look like she's an African American girl. And so I thought,
Mm-hmm.
we went back and forth with a few kind of like initial, of course, drafts on what she looked like. And when I finally settled on this draft of her, I was really satisfied and really pleased with it. And I thought he just captured everything that I was trying to kind of say. You're wanting the illustrator to capture what you're thinking in your mind, and sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do. So you kind of can provide a couple pictures and kind of say, take from here. I like this nose, or something, these lips. But he's an awesome illustrator. He did a fantastic job, and I can tell you that one of the best things about this book, that's the first thing people say before they even read the book, is how beautifully illustrated it is, and the colors and how vibrant it is, and it just kind of pops out to you. And so that's been like the best blessing with this book, because I can tell you, when doing my research again before beginning my writing, that
Mm-hmm.
was one of the things that was stressed, was making sure that you had great illustrations, because people are visual,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that's the first thing they see is the cover, and then they flip through, and they may not necessarily read every word for word, everything word for word, but they are looking at the pictures are jumping out at you. And so that's what I'm so most grateful for, is the illustrations in this book. Of course, yes, the message is awesome, but those illustrations just make that message even that more intense.
I agree. I agree. It's a wonderful illustrated book. It is
Yes.
wonderful. And I love the colors. Look at that. I love the colors.
Yeah,
I
and I just
love.
thought each page of wording, he captured exactly like what she was doing at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
Especially some of the grandma pictures too. I love it when she's sitting on her grandma's lap, and you know, um, it
yeah.
just brings back kind of like I don't want nostalgia. You don't really want to say that, because you don't want that family factor to ever go away. But just
Yeah.
bringing it back, that family value of, when we were little kids and sitting on our grandma's laps, and I can remember my grandma being in her rocking chair, and I'm sitting on her
Mhm.
lap, and her telling us stuff or telling us stories. And so it's kind of bringing back that good old kind of family values added to the book.
Now, Crystal, as along with your book, I have
Mhm.
always appreciated your knack for the direction you were always going with your business. And I love what you were doing with the etiquette to get the children involved in better etiquette, those workshops. I
Yes.
love what you're doing now with the self-care, because it's important for us as women and parents to take care of ourselves. And I know
Mhm.
you're doing some magnificent things with that. Can you tell us a little more about that? And then let us
I
know
can.
what other projects you're heading into?
Okay, I can. So the etiquette portion, I started off with Gabby. I was doing book clubs, right? And we would meet at local libraries, and I had a group of girls, and we would all meet. And I had some wonderful friends that would come out and help me, even break down the girls in small groups and according to age to kind of read different books. And believe it or not, I never focused really on Gabby. My focus was bringing other African American books for that book club. And so we always chose a book to read according to age level. And so during those book clubs, we would have one of the highlights at the end of the book club was having a little tea party. And of course, the girls were excited about that. And so then I got the notion to, okay, during the tea party, teaching some etiquette, And so I created this workbook and it's called, I don't know if, yeah, Etiquette for Youth. And this too, it wasn't illustrated by Mike Motts. I had another illustrator, Shakira Rivers.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Shakira Rivers.
Yes. She illustrated this book, which is also very colorful. And the book is a workbook. And so we have different pages, like page 1, you'll see where it's talking about what to do when you're greeting someone. And so you'll see illustration, you'll see, for instance, when greeting someone, always smile, have direct eye contact, speak clearly, and shake hands firmly. And so you go through the workbook, learning different etiquette lessons. And at the end, there's a word find. There's what did you learn? There's a page where you can write a thank you note, which is a lost art sometimes of writing thank you. And so it's a great workbook for youth to learn some basic etiquette skills.
That is awesome.
And I've taught some etiquette classes, and I'm gonna tell you, I've run into parents after those etiquette classes that say, my daughter really learned a lot in that class because when we went out to dinner, she was correcting me on how to hold my fork and, do all this, put your napkin down and, and I'm like, awesome job. That's great. So I feel like my job is done. So.
Oh my gosh. I want that book. I need that book. I want that one. I got to order that one.
So this too, both of these
you gotta
books
tell us
are.
where can you get that book?
Okay. So let me jump to Journey to Me. So in writing these books for children, I felt led to also do something for the moms, right? And this is a journal, and it's called Journey to Me. I created a private Facebook group where it's a group of women who have come together to focus on self-care. We're busy. We're doing entrepreneurial things, work things, kids, husbands, jobs. And so sometimes we get lost and we don't take the best care of ourselves, right? We eat fast food a lot. We don't take our medicine like we're supposed to, or we're not exercising as much as we need to. And so the focus is kind of just on women and taking care of themselves.
Yes.
And taking the time. And so this is a journal just for self-reflection, to write your goals down. And so all of these books can be found on Amazon.com. I believe that if you just put in my name, Crystal Marable, all 3 books will come up. I've done that, and all 3 books come up. And so Amazon is a great platform, as you know, to publish books on, to self-publish books on. And so that's kind of been my kind of deal here. I just keep publishing. I'll just keep publishing on Amazon. And but I'm very proud of these works. For me, it's a great accomplishment. It's, it's something that where I kind of set a goal to do something and I was able to complete it. And so I just hope that people enjoy when they do purchase it, they enjoy the book products that I've put out there so far.
Awesome. And we can find those books again on Amazon.com. You just have to search Crystal Marable.
Yes. So I do have like a author page, and I'm almost certain because I've done it before myself. I've just put my name in there, and then the books will come up. So you'll find Gabby, you'll find the Etiquette for Youth workbook, and you'll find the Journey to Me self-care journal.
Awesome, awesome. So you guys go ahead to Amazon and do a good search for Crystal Marable and you'll find her information there.
Yes.
Now, now you guys remember that when you get on there, not only are you to buy the book, but you also have to leave a review. The
Yes.
best thing that you can do for any author is share their information and give a review. Give
Yes.
Crystal y'all's review and let her know how much you love this book, okay?
Please
Give
do.
her a great review and let her know how much you love this book. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was just a really like it was well done. This was a well
Thank you
done
so
book.
much. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. And you can't say that about everyone's self-published book. This was a well self-published book. I really enjoyed
Oh,
it.
thank you. Thank you.
And
It,
I have
it was the
gotten
first
other ones.
try, a first try at it, but I really, um, put my all in all in it. And I'm just, like I said, even this many years later, I'm still very, very proud of that book. And I hope it just continues to bless little girls, everywhere. Do.
Well, Crystal, we are coming on to close, and I have one last question to ask you, and this is a question that I ask everyone. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
if there was a guarantee that three pieces of your advice would be carried on through the generations, from your children to their children and their children's children and on,
Hmm.
if you were able to do that, and know that they would definitely practice that advice habitually, what three pieces of advice would you give?
Okay. I think my first piece of advice would be number one, listen and honor your parents. Listen and honor your parents. I think
Mm-hmm.
children see this generation that we're in now is that, you know, mom doesn't know, dad doesn't know. And we were all like that when we were little, but I know for a fact, hindsight looking back, if I could talk to my younger self, I would tell my younger self, listen to your parents. They are never going to guide you wrong. They are going to push you and steer you in the direction for you to have the most success possible and to pass and surpass them. And so that is the first piece of advice. Honor and listen to your parents. Number two, never, 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 ever give up. Never give up. When things don't happen like you want them to, if you fail at something, when you get discouraged about something, never, ever give up. I can remember my son really wanting, and as a teenager in high school, he was a great student, straight A, but there was some club or something that he wanted to be in high school and he just knew he was gonna get it and he didn't. And I tell you, as a parent, I felt that, as a deeply involved parent in my children's
Yeah.
lives and their accomplishments, I felt it myself. And so one
Right.
of the things that I did was I went and got that story of one of Michael Jordan's stories that he tells about how he I can't remember, but I think it's like he failed something in basketball or like the greatest thing that he's like the greatest player. But however, in the beginning, um, something happened. I can't remember, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I know it was a Michael Jordan example that I went and pulled up and gave to him. And I said, the greatest of all people have the point is the greatest, even the greatest have failed at something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even the greatest have had bad outcomes at something in life. The point is they never gave up. They kept going. They saw they kept their eyes on the prize, right? And so that's what I would tell young people. Never give up. Keep your eyes on your goal no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You can achieve whatever you want to achieve, but you have to put the work, the hard work in and go after whatever it is that you want. And number three, I think, is follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. If you want to be an entrepreneur, follow that dream. If your dream is to become a doctor, follow that dream. I think sometimes we get caught up in wanting to be like other people. My dream may not seem as grand as somebody else's dream. Their dream may make
Mhm.
more money than the dream that I have, or, you know, follow your dream. Do what feels right for you.
Right.
Do what individually, God has a plan for all of our lives. Follow the plan and seek God in that. Seek God in wanting to know what He has is the plan and purpose for your individual life. No matter what else is going on
Right.
around you, seek that 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 kind of in prayer for God to tell you what is it that you have for me for my life, and follow that.
Mhm. Honor your parents, never give up, and follow your dreams. That sounds great, Crystal. That is good. That is good. I have learned so much by talking to my fellow authors, and this is like one of my favorite questions because I get to dig in and realize how similar we all are as parents,
Absolutely.
and how we all want the best for our
Hmm.
children. And I think that any parent can totally relate to this question. So thank you so much for that, Crystal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for coming on. I'm so glad that you were able to come on and able to share these things with us. Everybody, make sure you go to Amazon, look up Crystal Marable, buy her book, give a great review, and share her information. I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us
Thank
tonight,
you.
everybody. And thank you, Crystal, again. And you guys, we will catch you guys next time. Crystal Marable and Graceful Gabby.
Thank you
This
so
is JD.
much.
No problem. No problem. This is J.D.Wright, ClarkColors.com. You guys have a good evening. Bye.